Hello and welcome to another episode of Chronicles of Cricket. And today we're going to be talking about a Ranji hat-trick that changed Indian fast bowling as we know it in India. There's a certain romance to fast bowling in India because for so long it wasn't supposed to work. The soil didn't help, the system didn't nurture it, and the culture did not believe in it.
Exactly. If you were quick during that era, the system wasn't in place to support you. India's main weapon over the years was always spin, because pace, they said, was almost like a foreign language for the Indian setup.
And in the middle of all of that came one spell, one hat-trick on his Ranji debut on top of all of that. Just one quiet first-class game in 1989, Karnataka versus Hyderabad, and that changed everything.
Yeah, and it was a debutant, tall, wiry, quiet. His name, well, we'll get to that later.
Okay, so let's set the stage. November 1989, the venue, the Hyderabad Gymkhana ground in Secunderabad. It's a regular Ranji Trophy match. Karnataka, a strong side. Hyderabad was also a relatively strong side, but they were trying to stay afloat at 80 for 5. They were 80 odd, I think, for 5 wickets down.
Yeah, right. And the game was coming into a period where the ball was growing soft, the shine was fading, the afternoon heat was sort of starting to drain the players, and into the attack came a boy most people in the stadium probably didn't know at the time.
Yeah, and a boy who actually fought his way up through the Mysore clubs. Just an example of just sheer resilience and persistence.
Yeah, but he was already generating pretty good pace, and he had the rhythm, and most of all he had the intent, that strange focus stare fast bowlers have when they know they're about to do something special.
First at 107, Eteshamuddin Ali Khan, the wicketkeeper, dismissed by the debutant, caught by Roger Binney.
So it was the last ball of the over, and Hyderabad were now 6 down for 107. But still, there was some batting to come. And 8 runs later, he started a new over. He came back for some more.
Yeah, he came back for more. Then came Mr. M.V. Ramamurthy. First ball of the next over, gone, caught by Shashikant. P.V. Shashikant.
Back to back wickets. Still not too dramatic at this point until the very next ball. So Rajesh Yadav walks in, barely settled. The debutants teams in again, same length, same line, same result, caught Shashikant again.
Hat-trick on debut. Would you believe it? You know these people are someone special because in a high-pressure game for them, their first game for their state at the first-class level, they are able to snap up a performance that rarely happens in cricket. Would you actually believe it? He got a hat-trick on his first game.
And here's the thing, nobody even celebrated it like it was history at that point. But something shifted that day. The great Javagal Srinath had arrived. Yes, that was the debutant's name. So,
How cool is that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, Robin, you come from the same state. Do you have any early memories of interacting with him? Uh,
Yeah, so many actually. Shreebai has always been someone who's, when I first saw him, was someone who's always very talkative, very encouraging, always interactive with the youngsters. Every interaction with Shreebai has been an interesting one. He's a really affable gentleman. You really love spending time with him because he's always got something interesting to share. Even now, a few days ago, I met him at the airport. He was traveling to New Zealand for the test matches, and he was telling me about. We were discussing Karnataka cricket a little bit, he was even that at this age. He's always someone who's energetic. That's one thing. 4 o'clock in the morning, you have speaking about cricket so passionately, speaking about Karnataka cricket so passionately. I remember my first memory of him, of playing against him, was when he retired. After he retired, he was just bowling for fun because I think he really still enjoyed bowling, and he was bowling at the nets off a short run up, and we were batting. And so for us at that age, I must have been 16 or something at that point, 16, 17 at that point. Just playing the likes of a Srinath was an honor. So I was playing him in the nets, and even post his retirement, he was so skiddy off the pitch. I think that's something people didn't really realize about Javagal Srinath, because in the era that he played, he was that lone fast bowler, but no one really understood how good he actually was. He was really, really good. He was skiddy off the wicket, brought the ball back in beautifully, not just in the air, but even after pitching off the wicket. And that off the wicket was like zoop, like very, very skiddy, man. So my experience of him has always been fun, enjoyable, and someone who's generally a very happy-go-lucky kind of person, and by nature someone who's got a lot of energy.
Right. As a cricket fan in the 90s, he was often the one great hope at the start of any innings. Like, he carried the fast bowling for so many long years, and it would have been a great fitting tribute for him had we won the 2003 World Cup. But obviously a legendary figure in Indian cricket, and this moment that we are talking about really sort of marks as a very important pivotal moment in fast bowling in India. So
yeah, for sure.
On,
I think when we say fast bowling in India, you actually think about it as he was one of those guys. When he came into the scene, he was someone that people really looked out for, because he was one of those first like genuinely quick fast bowlers that came through. He's not a swing bowler that we saw like we were used to seeing in India. He was someone who was genuinely quick, and I remember he had a very different action to what he finished with later on in his career. But from that point on, there was a steady rise. Gundappa Vishwanath had already spotted him earlier in club cricket and kept a keen eye on him.
The next year, Srinath became Karnataka's new ball bowler, and a couple of seasons later, he was in the Indian dressing room shadowing Kapil Dev, and he went on to the tour in Australia in 1991.
Yeah, he was still a slightly raw entity at that point in time. He wasn't an instant sensation, but he had this thing. He just kept going. He bowled long spells in heat on flat tracks without complaining, and that was the thing that stood out about Srinath.
Yeah, and Australia 1991-92 was tough, but he came back smarter, sharper, and while he kind of shadowed Kapil Dev for a few years, by 1996 he was India's undisputed fast bowling leader.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can remember Ahmedabad in November 1996, that was a special test match against South Africa. They get all out for 105. Srinath gets 6 for 21. He was matching the great Alan Donald like ball for ball. He went toe to toe up against him.
And the thing is, he could be often perceived as a workhorse, but don't be fooled. He could really crank it up. He had serious pace and was probably one of the fastest bowlers of his generation.
Oh, he clearly was. In India, I think the fastest bowler in his generation. There were a few more coming through the ranks by virtue of the inspiration that they saw in Javagal Srinath. But he wasn't just a bowler though. He could bat when needed. That partnership with Kumble against Australia and Bangalore, that was iconic. I remember that one very keenly. I remember I was in I think Kerala watching that game from a family friend's home, and I was like, there were visuals of Srinath and Kumble's family while they were batting in Bangalore. It was a very intense match. He was also for some time the pinch hitting experiment face. In the mid to the late 90s for India. You'd always see Javagal Srinath at number 3 coming in as a pinch hitter, and you always got excited like, oh man, something special is going to happen. I remember a time when he came in as a pinch hitter, but a couple of wickets fell around him, and he actually stood there and took stock and didn't get out. So he wasn't like a muck with the bat. He was actually really good. He could hit some big sixes as well, and also at some points consolidate.
Yeah, and remember this, when Kumble was on 9 wickets in an innings at cusp of history against Pakistan, that famous test match, Srinath deliberately bowled wide so his friend could get all 10.
Yeah, that's who he was. An absolute team man, a gentleman fast bowler, a workhorse. I don't think he was an out and out team man and worked really hard for the team.
So Srinath's legacy, I guess, he didn't come from a factory of pacers. but he was the one who built the factory.
Yeah. Before him, we had one-off picks. After him, we had a generation of fast bowlers that came through.
Yeah, the likes of Zahir Khan, Nehra, RP Singh, Ishant, Shami, Bumrah, Siraj, all of them walked a path that Srinath had originally created for them.
Yeah, and you missed a few. You can talk about Irfan Pathan, Srishant, David Johnson, Doda Ganesh. All of these guys were inspired by, I think, the likes of a Srinath and the opportunity for India to have genuine fast bowlers who could bowl 140 and above, right? And it all began that day in Hyderabad with a hat-trick. No one filmed. Nobody has talked about it. But that's the one thing that changed more than just something in Indian cricket.
Fast bowling in India isn't just alive today, it's alive and kicking now. It's elite. But if you want to trace that fire back to its spark,
It actually began with Javagal Srinath and the hat-trick that nobody saw, but everyone felt eventually.
this is Chronicles of Cricket.
See you guys next time.